Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Caribbean economies realized a lower rate of average growth last year compared with 2022. The Caribbean Development Bank shared the economic performance data at its annual press conference Tuesday morning. Javon Keys reports.
Director of Economics at the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, Ian Durant, says GDP growth in the Caribbean was an average 6.7%.
This, however, is a slowdown from the 11% recorded in 2022, reflecting some return to the historical average following the unprecedented shock caused by the pandemic. By the end of 2023, 11 of our borrowing member countries had overtaken pre-pandemic output levels.
He says oil production in Guyana was a significant driver of the Caribbean's increased output.
Production increased by 35.2%, influencing growth in the non-energy sectors and contributing to an overall expansion of Guyana's economy of 32.9%. Economic activity in the other commodity exporters, Suriname and Trinidad and Tobago, also expanded, but at a more measured rate, with the energy sector in Trinidad and Tobago recording a slight contraction.
As for tourism and service exporting countries, which are among the 19 CDB members, they grew an average 2.4%.
These economies benefited from robust demand from major source markets, particularly the United States. Mobility and travel essentially returned to normal with the ending of emergency health restrictions in May 2023. Data for the January to September period showed total arrivals reached 99% of pre-COVID levels, bolstered by continued recovery of airlift and the return of festivals and sporting events across the region. The tourism upturn, combined with ongoing private and public construction activity, drove real growth for most borrowing member countries.
The CDB estimated that for 2023, Jamaica's economy grew by 2.9%. For the Business Day, I'm Javon Keys.
The local policy interest rate remains at 7%. The Bank of Jamaica's Monetary Policy Committee, after its meetings last week, says it was a unanimous decision to maintain the rate offered to deposit-taking institutions on overnight placements with the BOJ. The committee says its decision was taken as Jamaica's headline annual inflation as at January 2024 was 7.4%. This was again outside the BOJ's 4 to 6% target range and suggests an upward tracking relative to the outturns for the previous 3 months. The BOJ says the higher than targeted inflation reflected the impact of higher regulated prices, including the first of a 2-part bus fare increase effective October 2023. The effect of wage increases throughout the economy was also a factor. Actions, including further interest rate increases if the upside risks to inflation highlighted above, may materialize. Now, after the Bank of Jamaica pumped $40 million into the foreign currency market, the Jamaican dollar gained 73 cents compared with the US dollar at the close of trading. Trading ended with banks and Cambio selling the US dollar for an average $157.16. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $117.45. The pound is going for $197.90, while the euro is selling for an average $170.02. To the stock market now, the JSE index gained 5,531 points today, while the junior market increased by 2 points. Among the 53 winners, Berger Paints Jamaica, Caribbean Cream, Epley, Kingston Wharves, and The Lab. The 40 losers were led by Epley 7.5% shares due 2024, JMMB Group 7% Jamaican dollar CR redeemable preference shares, and JMMB Group 7.25% VR cumulative redeemable preference shares, PBS 9.75%, and Caribbean Producers Jamaica. 17 stocks closed the session selling at the same price they started trading. And that's it for the Business Day. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Good evening.